Niners fans, it's about that time. 7 o'clock on a Thursday. Faithful Niner Empire. What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay. And once again, it's a pleasure to be on with the faithful, the Niner Empire. Some of the best fans, y'all know it, in the NFL. It's a pleasure to be on with you guys on a Thursday night. Shout out to everyone watching Jay in the Bay Facebook page, the Spotlight Sports Network Facebook page, Jay in the Bay YouTube page, and also the Spotlight Sports Network YouTube page. Shout out to everyone coming out. We do have a special guest on with us today. Of course, he goes by the name of Niner Sickness. And if you are watching Jay in the Bay right now because of Niner Sickness, much appreciation. I appreciate you guys for coming through. First, though, I got to say, what's good to all the people right now who are in the chat. Caden Jenkins, what's good? Appreciate you joining the stream. He says, hey, Jay in the Bay, I miss you, man. Well, I'm back, man. I'm back. Had a few days off, but now I'm back in front of the screen talking with the faithful 49ers Ultimate Report. What's good? Appreciate you coming through, man. Thanks for tuning in to the stream. He says, faithful Niner Empire. What's good? He says, this show just got even more awesome. Let's go. All right. Niner Faithful, what's good? Appreciate you joining the stream, Niner Faithful. He says this should be a good stream. Don Dodson, what's good? This is how I greet all my subscribers and people who are joining the stream. So I appreciate you coming to the stream. She says she's new. Thanks for tuning in. Sam Bell, what's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream. He says, what's up, Jay in the Bay Live? Mike Jackson 05. That's an excellent avatar you got there. What's good? He says, what's good, bro? It's all good on the Thursday night talking about the Niners. Jay, what's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream. He says, faithful Niner Empire, what's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay. Thanks for tuning in. So now we have a special guest on the Jay in the Bay show today. It's an honor and a privilege to bring Niner Sickness onto my channel. I watched Niner Sickness when I was in the beginning stages of creating my YouTube channel, so it was cool to see Niner Sickness interact with his community. And it's an honor and a privilege to have Niner Sickness on the channel. And he has his own Facebook, IG, YouTube channel. Make sure you guys subscribe to him if you haven't already. His link is in the description. All his social media platforms, it's all in the description. Make sure you guys check him out. And let's bring on Niner Sickness. What's good?
What's up, man? My brother? I'm excited, bro. Let's get this party started.
Oh, man. Like I said, it's an honor to have you on, man. As I said before, I was watching you prior to my journey in, doing YouTube. So it was cool to see someone, I call it OG, who've seen the Niners from their worst. They see them through the lean years in the 70s, the great years, the 80s, the 90s, 2000s. So it's great to have you on, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate having me on, Jay. Honestly, it's a true honor to be on your show, man. I love what you do. I love how you engage with your viewers, man. You have a great channel, and it's a true privilege to be on your channel. And yes, you are right. I come from the old school. I seen the good, the bad, and definitely the ugly when it comes to the red and gold. And Steve DeBerg, for those that only knew Joe Montana or Steve Young, yes, I was a Steve DeBerg supporter prior to Joe Montana. And it was great times, but we're heading in 2021, bro. We're heading to another, as long as we can stay healthy, we're heading to another great year.
Absolutely. No, I definitely agree with that. I think the future for the 49ers franchise is in great hands, with the young bull, Trey Lance, who we obviously just drafted. I think the 49ers franchise is in great hands. Now, going back, you mentioned the lean years. So there was a lean year, definitely last year's season. It was a terrible season, tons of injuries. And, going into the offseason, I just want to piggyback on the regular season, and then we'll go through the off season. So obviously there were definitely needs on both sides of the ball for the 49ers to address. Now, what do you think was the 49ers most pressing offensive need going into the offseason?
Offensive line and the center position, to be particularly exact. Right guard as well, but the center position has been an area that we unfortunately been lacking. We brought in, can't even think of his, Burr. I can't pronounce, what was his name? Our center that never planned out for us.
That was,
I can't think of his name.
I think we signed him, a big free agent deal.
From the Giants.
His name is Richburg, Weston
Richburg. Thank you.
Yeah.
We brought him in for the reason of being the caller on offense, and unfortunately, due to injury, he did not plan out, and we were juggling back and forth players, and then with injuries in 2020, so bringing Alex Mack from free agency, a vet from Atlanta, to carry that offense and to control and set the tempo for our offense, especially the direction that we want to go in, Jay. It's going to be fun. This guy knows what he's doing. He's a captain. He's a leader, and he's the quarterback of the offensive line. And another thing, too, is we needed a right guard, and we drafted with the second pick in the draft, Aaron Banks. Now, he hasn't planned out quite where I wanted him to be. I was hoping he would be more competitive for that position. So it looks like Daniel Brunskill, the vet, is going to continue to demand that position. But hopefully we can continue to develop Aaron Banks eventually to take over for that spot. But those are the two areas in free agency that I wanted to see replaced. And bringing Alex Mack was one heck of a free agency signing. Yes, I know he's up there in age. And yes, I know he sweats like no other. But he's a great leader. He makes it rain in a great summer, according to Jimmy. So, yeah, he's. I'm looking forward to see him play, brother.
Absolutely, and Alex Mack, he's very familiar with Kyle Shanahan's system. We know he's up there in age, but I think he could be with the Niners maybe for a year or two while they develop another center. And you mentioned Daniel Brunskill at that right guard position. He's been with the 49ers for several years. He's played multiple positions along that offensive line. Very familiar with Shanahan's system. And I'm fine with Aaron Banks. If it's taking more time for him to develop. And Aaron Banks, he's a Bay Area kid. We're definitely all rooting for him. But, I know we love to see high draft picks just come in and set the NFL, world on fire, but that doesn't always happen. Yep. There is a difference between the pros and the NFL, and Aaron Banks, he's learning at the best level and under the best tutelage of coaching in the NFL. So I think he'll be fine. And hopefully he recovers, sooner than later from that shoulder injury he sustained.
Yeah. Hopefully, yeah. He, a lot of people don't like Daniel Brunskill, and I understand, but this guy's a vet. This guy, he's proven, that he can play football. So do I want Aaron Banks to eventually take over? Yes. Am I really concerned that Daniel Brunskill is taking the role right now? Not really. I think with Alex Mack, it's really going to help that offensive line gel together. And we have Trent Williams, which we signed. If you want to really talk about a free agent, he became free agent, so we brought him back. So that was a great signing to protect our quarterback in the blind spot, Trent Williams. And Lincoln Tomlinson, he's not the greatest left guard, but he's very stable at what he does. We don't have to worry about the left side, so we can put a little bit more emphasis on the right side with Mike McClinchy and Brunskill. They're taking control of that side. But I'm excited, brother. I'm excited for our running game. I'm excited for our offense this year. And I think the center, again, was an area that was really a top need, in my personal opinion, and they addressed it by bringing Alex Mack.
Absolutely. And no doubt he's a veteran, and I can't wait to see him and how he'll help Jimmy G or Trey Lance, whoever plays quarterback for most of the regular season. I'm sure he'll help them immensely. But I got to say, what's good to Raina, Luna? Thanks for tuning in to the stream. They say hello, Jay and the Bray. I appreciate you joining the stream. Let's see, Corey Davis. What's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream. Hopefully, your Thursday night is going
Corey.
well. Now we talked about most pressure need on offense. Let's go to the other side of the ball. I think last year, our defense, it was led by Kerry Hyder Jr. He led the team in sacks last year. Obviously, Bosa was out, Solomon Thomas was out. As far as the defense, what do you think was the most pressing need on the defensive side of the ball for the 49ers?
Real quick, Jay, before I go to and answer that question, just real quick, I just want to correct you a little bit.
Sure.
On the Reina, it's Renee.
Renee, okay.
And she's my beautiful wife that is joining the podcast, supporting in. So she's a subscriber to you, not because she's my wife, bro. She really likes your channel, and she gets a kick out of it when you say what's good. Oh, she gets a kick out of it. But the other day when she came on, you said Reina. My wife's like Reina. So Renee with one E.
Okay, so, let me correct that. Renee, what's good?
There you go. Now she's gonna be. Now she's all happy. She's in her office in the other room. But back to the question that you mentioned about defensive. There was question marks, Jay in the Bay, at one of our D-line defensive ends with D Ford. We were talking about, they were saying he may retire. His injury to his back was so severe that maybe he'll never play. We were thinking maybe we'll get a little bit about him. So when they brought in Samson from the Rams, I thought that was a great addition to the Niners defense because he is nowhere near D Ford, but he has speed to come around tackles, pretty good speed, just like D Ford, and we needed that personally because I think Eric Armstead is more of a bigger body, but he doesn't have the speed of someone like D Ford or Samson. So I like that addition, and believe it or not, I love Zach Kerr. Bringing him, I love this guy. This guy's stuff he's a great run stuffer, big boy. I can picture him next to Kinlaw, and ain't nobody going to run the ball between these two guys, man. These guys are huge and strong. You know what I mean? So bringing Samson was great. Yes, we brought some rotational pieces in Maurice Hurst and Alden Key, but Samson was one of the additions that I really like. He hasn't really had to, a lot of people say, well, maybe he's not that good. I think he's good. I just think he hasn't really had the opportunity to display how good he can be. And let's be honest, the Rams, no offense to Pale Time if he watches this now or later, but they did not use him properly. With the Y9, he's going to be, same thing with Key, with the Raiders. He wasn't used properly, and I think they'll be able to take advantage of our defensive scheme to be more productive. So I'm looking forward to see what Samson bring. And now that we've been hearing about D Ford and the good news, now I still have to wait for the Detroit game. Okay, I've been here before where D Ford looks good in camp and then plays a couple of games against Arizona and he's out for the rest of the year. So I'm tempering my expectations, but inside I'm kind of like, come on, D Ford. Come on, if that guy can play this year, oh man, I'm getting excited. I'm sorry, if he can play with Nick Bosa and Samson and the rotation that we have on our D-line, we might have had a stronger D-line push in 2019 with Buckner, but with the rotation, I love this year's D-line better than 2019 because of the rotational players that we can bring in and not have to always demand Nick Bosa or D4 to be out there on every down, where we'll be able to rotate him and give them the rest they need. So I'm fired up, bro.
Absolutely. That was definitely an area of need, or at least, as you mentioned, we had to provide depth for that position. We already know the big names, Ford, Bosa, Kinlaw, Armstead, but John Lynch did an excellent job in adding depth. Arden Key, Maurice Hurst, Zach Kerr, DJ Jones,
yes,
and those guys, and also Contavious Street, Kevin Gibbons as well. It'll be interesting to see how that defensive line if all those players, it's probably highly unlikely that all those players make the 53-man active
Yeah.
roster. But we're very deep in that area. I thought also we definitely needed to address the secondary. I think we needed to get younger in the secondary, and I think the Niners definitely did that in the draft. We'll definitely discuss that. I gotta say, what's good, Monty Williams? Thanks for tuning in to the stream.
Monte, what's up, brother?
Hopefully your Thursday night is going well, man. Thanks for tuning in. And we got to talk about, one of the most popular players on the 49ers. You guys might have heard of him, Jimmy G. Were you surprised?
Who?
Jimmy Garoppolo. Were you surprised the Niners kept Jimmy G through the offseason after, let's face it, he's missed more games than he's played. He's had basically 2 years where he's been out for majority of the year due to injuries. But 1 year he was healthy, we got to the Super Bowl. So were you surprised that, Jimmy G is still with the team and he lasted through the offseason?
No, not at all. And let me explain why. Jimmy G, like you said, hasn't played much. Unfortunately, he's been bombarded with injuries. And, you want a quarterback that can be on the field doing his thing. So I can understand the frustration of all the faithful when it comes to Jimmy. But when Jimmy is on the field, and a big if, but when he's on the field, he's very productive. He wins games. Look at what Nick Mullins has done. Look at what CJ Beathard has done. Look at how many games we won with Jimmy, how many games we didn't win without him. And that within itself tells you we need Jimmy. Now, drafting Trey Lance over Justin Fields, those are the two guys that I liked a lot. I think if it wasn't for Jimmy on the roster, I think they might have gone Justin Fields over Trey. But because Jimmy is on the roster and because they're going to be able to groom Trey behind Jimmy, they brought in Trey because, to me personally, this is my opinion, Jay, that Trey has the higher ceiling over Justin Fields and Mac Jones, in my opinion. And I'm excited, even over Zach Wilson. This is just me. I'm a big Clemson Tiger, so I like Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson. But so am I surprised that Jimmy was kept? No, I think Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch are two very bright individuals. They're always thinking about the moment and the future. One of the areas that was one of our weakest spot has been quarterback, Jay. You know this. Last year when we lost Jimmy, we had painful games to watch with Mullins, CJ Beathard. Those games were painful. And I'm assuming that Shanahan and Lynch got together and said, listen, we need to make our weakest class at quarterback one of our strong suits. And this is why they decided to move from 12 to 3 and grab a future quarterback, but not with the idea of getting rid of Jimmy, but rolling with Jimmy and having a very good backup, a future quarterback for the Niners. So as the game prolongs, as we go, Jimmy does this thing. We're winning with Jimmy because we have proven that we can win with Jimmy. If Jimmy gets hurt, we know we have Trey nurturing, developing, and learning, working on his mechanics, working on his throws, getting better. And God forbid something happens to Jimmy, we have Trey that we can depend on. We didn't have that security last year. Right. If we knew that if Jimmy went down, everybody paused like, oh my God, what are we going to do now? There goes our season, right?
Right.
Well, this year, the longer Jimmy plays, the longer Trey learns. If Jimmy does go down week 7, week 8, week 9 to an injury, we don't have to freak out and we don't have to panic about our season being over. Trey can come in and take us further along. So, was I surprised Jimmy stayed? No, I think that wasn't within their plans. I know a lot of people talked about trading him or they didn't have the trade value. I really think that Kyle wants to have strength in that quarterback room, and having Jimmy mentor, and a lot of it has to do with Jimmy too, Jay. The kind of person, the personality of Jimmy. Sometimes you have a quarterback that's just not willing to teach, not willing to get along, and it makes things harder in the locker room. Then that's when chaos starts. But Jimmy is a man, a pro's pro. He's loved in the locker room. That's why players love him. He's very accepting. He knows his role. He knows he's only going to be here for a year. Now, I know I'm being long-winded with this answer, but what I want to say too about Jimmy is, I don't know if you've seen this, but Jimmy's not, he has no pressure on him right now. He has nothing to lose. He's playing with house money. He's playing with house money. Why do I say that? Because he knows whether he does good or bad, he's gone, right? He has his 100,000 plus million in the bank already. So he's going to play without the distraction of having to be the man in San Francisco. And I think that's going to be good for us and our team going forward, that he's going to be able to play relaxed, knowing that, you know what, I'm just going to be me, because whether I do good or not, I'm gone anyway. So I'm just going to have fun. And I think that's going to be the Jimmy that we want to see. And at the same time, we're developing Trey. And don't be surprised if they bring in Trey in a lot of sub packages in games to get his feet wet. Not like Breeze and Hill, but because with Hill, it was more of running. With Trey, you know he can throw. So that's going to keep defenses kind of like, okay, here comes Trey. But they're not certain if he's going to run or if he's going to throw. And if they bring that linebacker in for that run, Trey can make him pay, especially with Trent Sherfield. We know how those bombs work. So that's going to be fun to watch. Sorry that it was long-winded answer, but I'm not surprised at Jimmy, and I'm happy Jimmy's here. I'm happy that we have two good quarterbacks. I don't understand why people are debating Jimmy, Trey, Jimmy. Listen, they are both on our team. They're both going to help us win. That should bring excitement, not division, in my opinion, brother.
I appreciate your thoughts, and I love to say, Jimmy G, that's my quarterback. As you mentioned, you know, they're both on the team, and I think people sometimes forget, if Jimmy succeeds, the team wins.
Yes.
What's better than that? If Jimmy plays well, he stays healthy, the team will win. We will still see Trey. You know, Shanahan will sprinkle in a skosh of Trey Lance in the regular season, and Trey Lance is in the best situation out of the quarterbacks that were drafted this year. Why do I say that? Well, Jacksonville's a rebuilding franchise. The Jets are a rebuilding franchise. It's rare that a team that traded into the third overall pick has as much talent on both sides of the ball as we do, and I think Trey Lance will definitely benefit from that. I'm not surprised that Jimmy G lasted through the offseason. I think it was necessary because, you know, Shanahan's only winning season was when Jimmy G stayed healthy the entire year. Why go away from that? You know, unless they were going to try to get like, you know, an Aaron Rodgers or something like that. But I think we're good where we're at. Hey, I think we're good where we're at with Jimmy G. And as you mentioned, he's going to mentor Trey Lance. And I think that's a great situation. We don't need to put in Trey Lance now. I know people want to see the new toy. They want to play with the new toy. They want to buy the new shoe. I know, but there's no need for him. He hasn't played, since he last played in college in like a, actual regular season game. So it's been a while. And especially, do we really want to start Trey on the road in back-to-back road games against Detroit and Philly? I'd rather stick with the more experienced guy, and that is Jimmy G. I gotta say, what's good to Megan? She says, "Hey, from 49er Cutback. Shout out to the 49er Cutback. Excellent YouTube channel. So excited for the game this weekend. I am as well." 49er Faithful says, "So is Jimmy our certain QB1 now? Because he seemed really happy in the press conference when he was asked who's starting week 1. What do you think about that?"
I thought he was I thought it was a tooth commercial with a big pearly white showing. You could tell Jimmy cannot contain himself. And and this is not a real surprise. Come on, let's be honest. I know, like you said, Jay, a lot of people want to see the new toy. They want to play with the new toy. But Woody is still, like Toy Story. The kid playing with Woody, and then Buzz came in, and now he started playing with Buzz, and kind of forgot about Woody, but Woody's still Woody. You know what I mean? So Jimmy is still Jimmy this year, Jay, and I'm excited to see him play. And he knows he's going to start, and he knows that they're going to just bring in Trey, and he knows that his job is not certain all year. I'm pretty sure that Kyle guaranteed him he will start. Now, whether he stays a starter all year, that's a whole different thing. We have to wait and see on that. But it's going to be fun to watch Jimmy do his thing. Like I said, he's playing with house money. He's going to do great. We win when he plays. And you allow Jimmy, to your point, do you want to start a rookie on the road? Even though Detroit is not that good, the Eagles are not that good either, but still, you don't want to mentally mess up a quarterback because that's the hardest part to get over. Should I remind everybody about David Carr going to the Texans? Now, I understand the Texans were a worse situation than us, but the point being is he was never able to recover mentally, and he came out of Fresno State on one of the top quarterbacks coming out of college, playing great, and he was just messed up. So to the question of Niner faithful, I'm glad Jimmy was told that he'll be the starter, and I expect him to be the starter, and I expect him to play great, and I expect Trey continue to learn, and I'm excited to see when they bring in Trey and a couple of those sub packages. Can you imagine being a defensive coordinator, Jay, and you got to figure out and you got to plan for two quarterbacks they can throw from the pocket? That's nightmares for defensive coordinators, brother.
Absolutely. And I think that could be part of the reason why Shanahan doesn't reveal who the starting quarterback is. Yep. But I think it just makes sense. Obviously, and, do we need to do that against Detroit? Probably not. But, the players and the coaching staff are treating Detroit Lions like they're an NFL franchise. They still have NFL talent. As fans, short for fanatics, we can say, oh, we're going to beat the brakes off them good old Detroit Lions. It's not going to even be close. But the players and coaching staff, they don't feel that way. This is game one. The Detroit Lions have a brand new head coach, brand new GM. They got Jared Goff. They still have talent, and, they need to be treated as a threat to, beating the 49ers.
Any given Sunday.
Exactly. Yeah. Any given Sunday. Now, we mentioned free agency briefly. You mentioned that, the big silverback, Trent Williams, the left tackle. I'm definitely glad we signed him. Also, you mentioned Alex Mack. Was there another offensive free agent that we signed who is of equal importance to those two players we've already talked about?
Offensively?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I like, being a Clemson Tiger, I love Wayne Gallman, and I love what he did with the Giants. And, this guy is a mauler. This guy's he's competing. He's a strong runner. I'm excited to see what he's going to do with Kyle Shanahan's offense. And I just want to remind everybody real quick that people are telling me, I haven't seen him do much in preseason. Listen, preseason is preseason. Regular football is regular football. You're not going to see players do or be dominant in preseason all the time, and they're going to surprise you in the regular season. I'm telling you, Wayne Gallman is going to be a great running back for us, running the ball. So he is. If you ask me, besides those two other guys, I'm excited to see him and what he can do in this offense, brother.
No, I was going to mention Wayne Gallman as well because, he's been a backup for the Giants. I believe he was a second or third round pick of the Giants a few years ago. Saquon Barkley got injured last year, torn his ACL. Wayne Gallman, stepped in, and he was a productive back.
Yes, he was.
And for the 49ers offense, it's all about depth. It's all about, we know Shanahan wants to run the ball 30 plus times a game. we don't have a Derrick Henry on this team, so we're going to use multiple backs.
Yes.
And I think with Mostert, Jeff Wilson Jr. when he comes back, Trey Sermon, Wayne Gallman, we still got Hasty, we still got Elijah Mitchell. So we have a plethora of running backs, and Wayne Gallman. Yeah, I think that's an excellent choice, and I think he should do well behind this offensive line. And you mentioned he hasn't played well. Some people feel he hasn't played well in preseason, but I think he's been pretty solid, especially with Trent Williams not playing and Alex Mack not playing. So I think he's played pretty well, in my opinion.
Well, he had what do you have? 5.8 yards per carry against the Chargers. Imagine if that was a regular game and he had those yards per carry, he probably would have had 100 yards that game by himself. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, I definitely agree with that. And I got to give a what's good to 49ers Ultimate Report. I appreciate that $5 super chat. Thanks for contributing to the Jay and the Bay YouTube channel. He says, just a reminder that the media doesn't care about the truth. They want to create a quarterback competition, but Kyle will start Jimmy, but Lance will play this season. I agree. And sometimes you have to take with what the media says, with a grain of salt. The whole media was saying, oh, it's Mac Jones. He's going to be the quarterback for the 49ers draft. So you got to, the media, obviously, this is a circus. This allows them for something to write about every day. It's for clicks online. They want a quarterback competition. But when you think about it, I don't think there really is a competition. Now judging Trey Lance from draft day to now, he's exceeding expectations, obviously, right? He definitely is doing that. But I think we roll with experience. And I think Jimmy G is that experienced quarterback, and there's a reason he's still on the team. Clearly, Shanahan sees value in him, and I think that's why, we're still sticking with Jimmy. And it's great because Lance doesn't have the pressure to come in and start for a playoff potential Super Bowl team, right? Who wants that pressure on their back? And Lance doesn't have to have that pressure. And he could come in and a few plays a game and get that experience that he desperately needs. So,
yeah, no, I agree. And I think both quarterbacks are not going to have pressure this season, which makes it fun and interesting. Like I said, Jimmy's playing with house money, so I feel that he doesn't have the pressure of having to be that guy now, knowing that Trey Lance is the future, and Trey Lance doesn't have to have the pressure of being the guy like Zach Wilson does or Trevor Lawrence does. So both of these quarterbacks have really no pressure, and they're going to feed off each other, and they have a good relationship. So great things to come, man. It's exciting to be a Niner fan, Jay. It's exciting to watch 49er football. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch this, man. So listen, I'm team Jimmy and I'm team Trey. Yeah. I love them both. They're both the red and gold. So I can't choose one or the other, but I do want to go with the experience over a rookie right now. And not only that, but Jimmy, listen, Trey wasn't brought in because Jimmy's really that bad. Trey was brought in because Jimmy can't stay healthy. So we got to make sure we understand that. So when Jimmy's healthy, man, he is good. So I'm excited, brother. I cannot wait for the season to start.
Absolutely. And shout out to 49ers Ultimate Report. He's another 49er YouTube like myself and Niner Sickness. I believe he's at 934 subscribers. So make sure you check out 49ers Ultimate Report. He's going to hit that 1K mark hopefully before September 1st.
Wait for me. Don't get
and shout out to 49ers Ultimate Report YouTube channel. Excellent content.
Right on.
And shout out to Luke Luna.
Luna.
I appreciate that, man. Also, Luke Luna with another $2 super chat. I appreciate that. He says 3 catches and Hurd makes the active roster.
Wow.
What do you think about that? If he gets 3 catches in the preseason game against the Raiders, do you think he makes the active roster?
It depends what kind of catches he makes, bro. He needs to make the Brandon Lloyd type of catches, one-handed AD type of catches. But we'll have to wait and see. I know we have a lot of expectations on Hurd. Drafted him 3 years ago and he hasn't played. So I'm holding my thoughts on him. But he needs to show off. This is one thing I can tell you, Luna. He needs to show that he deserves to be on this roster against the Raiders. Because if he can't, then I'd rather rock with Mohamed. I would hate to lose Mohamed Sanud. Although Jalen Hurd is better, in my opinion. But if he can't go, I would hate to lose Muhammad over Hurd if he's not ready to go. So I want to see him in action, and I want to see him perform.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how many wide receivers the Niners keep on the 53-man active roster. Obviously, you got the IU show. You got Debo. I think Juwan Jennings make the active roster. Trent Sherfield for sure. I think Mohamed Sanu should make it, and then you got Hurd. You got Travis Benjamin. He looks solid to me. He looks rejuvenated after taking a year off last year. He could possibly make the active roster. Craycraft was cut, but we still have I said Hurd, Benjamin, and I know we let go Austin Watkins Jr.
We have still Richie James.
Still got Richie James. I'd be surprised if he and Hurd make the active roster. I don't think, honestly, either one of them will make the active roster. I'd be surprised by that. But Hurd, he's got an opportunity. Hopefully he plays against the Raiders. If he doesn't play against the Raiders because of a setback, I think, unless the Niners put him on the PUP list, which is possible. But I would be surprised if Hurd. I'd be pleasantly surprised, but hopefully he can play on Sunday. Corey Davis, $5 super chat. I appreciate that, brother. He says, "What running back do you think we are going to keep?" So if you had to pick the running backs are going to be on the active roster, who you got? Niner Sickness.
Well, good question, Corey. Thank you for donating to Mr. J in the Bay. We know that we're going to keep Raheem Mostert. 1, we're going to keep Trey Sermon. 2, Wade Goldman. 3, okay, and then Wilson he's in the IR right now, but he'll be brought in later. So honestly, it's really for me, it's Hasty, and Elijah Mitchell. They're fighting for that last spot at running back, and I know Elijah Mitchell was hurt, and I thought maybe because he's hurt they may cut him, but I don't know. He was back in practice yesterday, and he's going to be a go on Sunday against the Raiders. So based on what I see, I love what I saw in practice. I love what I saw in college from him, but I want to see him against the Raiders be productive because I like JaMycal Hasty a lot, but he does have the fumble problems. I know he can get fixed, but he does have those issues. Elijah Mitchell reminds me so much of a younger version of Raheem Mostert. So it's going to be a battle. Honestly, it's going to be a battle between JaMycal Hasty and Elijah Mitchell and Wayne Gallman also too for that spot. But let's see. Last year we kept 4 running backs plus the fullback, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So we keep Raheem, Trey. We keep Wayne Gallman, and then we're gonna either have to keep again either Elijah Mitchell or Hasty. Okay. And then for now, and then when Wilson comes back, then we're gonna have to figure out what we do then. But that's until then. But to Corey's point, those are I want to see the battle between Hasty and Elijah Mitchell to make a better determination of which one deserves to be on the roster.
Absolutely. That'll be an intriguing matchup to see who will end up on the active roster. And I think I'm surprised we haven't seen Elijah Mitchell more on special teams. I think, he's got great speed. He could contribute, returning kicks and punts. I'm not sure how you felt, but last year definitely left a lot to be desired with Jet McKinnon, returning kicks. And I've seen Richie James, obviously in preseason, a lot do it. Seems like he's comfortable with it. So that could be a reason he stays on the active roster. But, we shall see. And Caden Jenkins, very sorry to hear that about your niece. My thoughts are with you and your family. But thanks for tuning in to the stream. Yeah, very sorry about that. 49ers Ultimate Report. Shout out to you again. Thanks for that $5 super chat. He says, also the same people that said Trey was not going to be drafted now want Trey to start. Jimmy is also 22-8, so relax. 49ers are okay. I agree. Payo time. What's good?
What's up, Payo?
Appreciate you coming through to the stream, Payo. He is a LA Rams fan, and I welcome all fans to the intheBay YouTube channel, especially if you're in the NFC West, which is a dysfunctional family, as Pale Time loves to say. And especially if you're Rams, Cardinals, Seahawks, you guys are all welcome. He says, Pale Time says, is Niner Empire hyped for the season? Absolutely. Absolutely, man. And for everyone who's in the chat right now, make sure you check out Niner Sickness if you haven't. His social media links are in the description, his IG, Facebook, and YouTube. Make sure you check him out. And also leave a thumbs up for the stream if you're enjoying the stream. And also subscribe to intheBay if you're enjoying the channel. And now going back to, we talked about most important offensive free agent. Who do you think was the most important defensive free agent signed through this offseason? I think you mentioned Samson. Is there another player that comes to mind?
Free agent signing other than I really like I said, I like Zach Kerr.
Yeah.
Was one that I mentioned as well. I like him. I do like the LSU kid, Key. I think he should have been a number 1 draft pick, but because of some issues, he went third to the Raiders. Again, I think the Raiders misused them there defensively, so I think he's going to be great for us. He's looking good in camp, so I'm excited about him. I feel bad that we lost Hurst to injury. Hopefully he recovers quickly, but I love the rotation. I love Kevin Givens, but to your question about free agency, I would say other than Samson, it would have to be Zach Kerr and Key for me. Additions to that defense, I think it's going to make us much better.
Absolutely. And another free agent defensive player that we signed, I think, I like the Tony Jefferson at safety sign, but unfortunately he couldn't stay healthy. But from all reports, even from our new defensive coordinator, D'Amico Ryans, Tavon Wilson is playing pretty well. We also signed Clinton Dix as well.
Forgot about him.
I think we have depth in that secondary, and I think a lot of players can contribute. Shout out and a hot diggity dog to Blue True. Thanks for that $15 super chat. They say, what's good at intheBay, at Niner Sickness, and all the good people in the chat. Happy Thursday. I appreciate that, Blue True. Thank you for supporting the intheBay YouTube channel. You are too kind. Now, going into the draft, this was a monumental, draft trade. The 49ers haven't selected a quarterback in the first round since 2005 and Alex Smith. The Niners traded from 12 to 3 to pick up Trey Lance. And so what do you think? Did you like the direction of the 49ers draft? Meaning, did you like the players we signed? Of course, we love Trey. But after that, what did you think about the moves in the draft?
I love what we did in the draft. The two guys that I want to key in that I liked a lot is Elijah Mitchell out of Louisiana. I liked him for a 6th pick, and I love what's his name? Lenore from Oregon. I watched this guy be a corner there. I know a lot of people are high on Ivory Thomas, and I like him too. But I always said from the beginning that Lenore was going to be he's going to pick up the defense quicker. He was going to show much more improvement quicker for those in my circle. And a lot of people say like, oh no, it's going to be Avery Thomas. And as you can see, Lenore has been playing very, very good. And same thing with the Hufanga. I still think he's going to be a special teams key player before he even hits the field at safety, but he's a great addition. So we tend to have very good luck in the 5th round with Dre Greenlaw, George Kittle. So now we drafted Lenore and Hufanga in the 5th. So if they plan out that 5th round, I tell this to people all the time. If you want to trade the 1st round, go for it. Just don't trade the 5th round because we get a lot of good players in that round. So I'm excited about those two guys. I'm excited about Thomas. Don't get me wrong. Out of what college did he play for?
Michigan.
Michigan, thank you.
Yeah.
Out of Michigan, I think he's going to develop a little bit slower. He'll pick up, but I do like. I'll tell you one thing. Emmanuel Mosley better hurry up and come back from that injury because he may lose his job to Leonard. That the kid's. I know I'm being sarcastic. He's not going to lose it, but that guy's definitely going to be pushing his buttons. About that, I like that kid. I just don't like 38 for him though. I hope he changes his number.
No, absolutely. And I was surprised we didn't go wide receiver in the draft, but it seems like that idea has worked out. I think the direction for the draft was clear. We have to get better at the offensive line, at least add depth in that area. We did that. We also had to get younger in the secondary with the 2 corners and the safety. So I definitely like the direction of the draft. Shout out, what's good, to Coach Dante, $5 super chat. I appreciate that, man. Thanks for tuning in to the stream. Also, check out Coach Dante. He is my Spotlight Sports Network brother. Welcome to the family again, and keep doing big things. And I look forward to more and more of your content, man. And I appreciate you joining the stream. And what's good, Renee? Love this compliment. She says, loving the show tonight. 2 of my favorite Niner Talk hosts. Absolutely. I appreciate that. And I got to say, what's good to Ram's House. He says, what's up, Jay, and Niner Sickness. Thanks for tuning in to the stream.
What's up, Ram House?
Hopefully your Thursday night is going well, man. Now, besides Trey Lance, which rookie do you think will have the biggest impact this year? Pick one offensive player and one defensive player. Okay,
offense is going to be easy. Trey Sermon. Because other than the quarterback, he's going to touch the ball quite a bit. I expect big things from him coming out of Ohio State. He's a great running back. I love that we moved. I love that the Niners not only pick him in the 3rd round, but they moved. They traded into the 3rd round to get him. That just shows that they plan to run the ball more than pass the ball. So they want to run the ball heavily, and it was all true by drafting 2 running backs. I did not expect the Niners to draft 2 running backs, to be honest. Was I shocked and surprised that they got Trey? No. Was I excited? Yes. I think he's going to be great. So offensively, I think Trey is going to have a great year. Fingers crossed for us, other than it's not named. Same name. First name, but not same last name. So I can't wait to see the Trey to Trey combination. But for now, it's Trey Sermon. And on defensively, Lenore is somebody that I'm looking forward to seeing be productive. I think they'll bring him in some packages here and there. Like I said, I'm high on this kid. I like this kid, and I expect big things from him. So those are my 2 guys. Defense and offense.
Yeah,
that I think will show up.
Yeah, I agree with you, Trey Sermon, and I think Elijah Mitchell could be too, especially if he could contribute special teams. And they say Elijah is as fast as Raheem Mostert. So Elijah Mitchell is signed to a multi-year contract, so it'll be interesting to see him and Sermon for years to come, as long as they can both stay healthy and productive in this lineup. As far as defensive rookies, I'm looking at the young man from SC, Talanoa Hufanga. Okay. I'm interested to see what he can do. I agree with you. I think he'll be an ace on special teams. He can be a good gunner on punt coverage and kick coverage. And I'm interested to see how D'Amico Ryans can use him, maybe in some defensive packages. It seems like he does his best work at the line of scrimmage, and that's definitely a player to watch out for. And as you mentioned, 5th round picks, man. I mean, Greenlaw, Kittle, Hufanga, even the young offensive lineman Jalen Moore. He's looked good at left.
Yeah. I forgot about him. Yeah, tackle.
John Lynch, man, keep doing what you're doing, man, because that 5th round has definitely been paying off for us.
5 Super Bowls, 5 picks in the 5th round, baby.
Yeah, and 5 Super Bowls. Yeah, Channel 49. What's good? Appreciate you joining the stream. He says, hey, what's good, fellas? I'm so pumped for the Battle of the Bay. Well, it's not the Bay anymore, but it will be fun to see the Raiders come back to the Bay. I'm sure that game will be crazy.
But I think as fans, we're always going to see it as Battle in the Bay.
Yeah.
We're going to beat those Raiders, spank them like we did 2 years ago with Mullins.
Absolutely. And Monte Williams, he says, first, what's good? He says, Jay, I think we would have got Deshaun Watson if he didn't have those allegations. We would have traded the first round pick. What do you think? What do you think about that? Niner sickness?
I really believe that if it wasn't for those allegations and if it wasn't because the Texans are just a terrible organization across the board. And I really believe that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan had made a strong push to get Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is a proven commodity in the NFL. We know what he can do. Look at the numbers that he put on that really bad team. Yeah, great numbers. 4 wins, but his numbers were, out of this world. This guy can play. Unfortunately, with allegations against him, it's tough, man. But yes, I believe that if it wasn't for the allegations, if it wasn't for the Texans being the Texans, we would have definitely gotten Deshaun Watson, not Trey.
I agree with that. I think the 49ers were definitely interested in him. And, I guess and I think that's why the Niners moved up 9 spots to go into the top 3 to pick, Trey Lance, the future quarterback. But yeah, I definitely agree with that, Monty. Corey Davis, appreciate that $5 super chat. He says, what defensive line do you guys think we are going to keep? Niner sickness and Jay in the Bay. What do you think?
What defensive line, guys? Oh, man, that's a good question, Corey. If I had to choose, oh man, you guys may not like me for this, but if I had to choose between Streets and Kerr, and I think that's going to be a really keep an eye on those 2 guys because I think one of those guys won't be here, and one of them will. And I'm really rooting for Zach Kerr over Streets. I'm sorry for those that love Streets. I love Streets too. I know he's been injured. Great player. He's doing great strives, but I like Kerr. I think we're going to keep maybe 8 or 9 defensive linemen, possibly, depending. I really want to go with 2 quarterbacks instead of 3. I'm not trying to step out of the question here, but I'd rather keep an extra lineman than keeping a 3rd quarterback personally. So that's just me, though. It's going to be tough, Corey. I really. Yeah, I gotta look. I gotta look after this game to really give you a better answer, Corey, on that. But just those 2 guys to look out for, Kerr and Streets. I see them battling for that spot, and one of those guys, I don't think they're going to be here. Who it's going to be, I don't know. I'll be surprised if they're both on the team by the time that we have to hit that 53-man roster.
That's a great question, KD. And we can't forget about Jordan Willis, who got, a safety sack. Unfortunately, he's going to be out for the first 6 weeks due to a PED suspension. Very unfortunate, but he will be back with fresh legs week 7. So I don't think he counts on the roster now. But in order for him to come back to the roster, we have to take someone off. So, but obviously you got Bosa, you got Armstead, you got Ford, you got Kinlaw. You got Samson, Arden Key. That's already 6 right there. And then you got Maurice Hurst, Kerr,
Kevin
Givens, Streets. Did I say DJ Jones?
No.
That's 10 right there.
Yeah.
So that's I don't know. That's
tough.
A great question. It's gonna be tough. The first 6, I think, after the first 4, then you got Samson. Arden Key, I think they'll definitely keep more edge rushers, because I think you're going to ease D Ford and Nick Bosa in. They're not going to be playing 100% of snaps the first month of the season. No way. They're going to slowly ramp them up. And I think that'll allow opportunities for Arden Key, Samson. I know Armstead, he'll play both inside and out. And then that'll be interesting to see how D'Amico Ryans uses, Armstead. But, yeah, that's a great question. I think we're going to be very deep at the defensive line and possibly have, at least 8 defensive linemen, and maybe even keep a defensive lineman on the practice squad. I think that would be a great strategy. Now, obviously, training camp. I think we've had an excellent training camp so far. Obviously, there's been some injuries. But hey, this is football. It's a physical game. Unfortunately, injuries are just a part of the game.
Yep.
Were there any 49ers players? Now, these players could be rookies. They could be free agents we signed who surprised you in camp. And if so, give one option for an offensive player and one option for a defensive player for a 49ers player who surprised you in training camp.
Surprised me as being injured, or just surprised
Or
you as being...
surprised you as being better than you thought they were.
Offensively, Trent Sherfield has really, really surprised me as a receiver. I think his shots of making the number 3 spot are very, very good. He's definitely making a point to me on this roster. Juwan Jennings is another one that has been looking good in camp. But Trent definitely is one on offense. Now on defense, surprise player on defense that has been doing good. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to think. Surprise player. I believe I like Haha, what Haha's been doing the short time that he's been here. I think he's going to be a great asset to this defense for us. Tevin Wilson's another vet that we brought in that has experience. So he's going to be great. I'm telling you, that safety position, now that Tart's back out of the PUP, and great news, by the way, on having Tart back and seeing him roll. But, yeah, my surprise player, honestly, that defensively, not so much. Offensively, yes. But I would say defensively, I would say Hufanga has really, really I know he's a rookie, but he's been really showing off his skills back there. Now he has to work on his coverage. Now he's not doing too much of that in the preseason, but I like him and I like Lenore. Those are the two. I'm going to go with Lenore and Hufanga, my two guys that surprised me and gone beyond my expectations from them. And then on offense, it's going to be Trent Sherfield.
Yeah, I mean, Trent Sherfield, he couldn't really make a dent, as a receiver on the Arizona Cardinals, offense. They have a lot of wide receivers. I can see why. But can you imagine if Trent Sherfield is our number 3 starting wide receiver, or he at least, plays, 20-25% of the snaps. Maybe, he spells Mohamed Sanu or Juwan Jennings. Like, that'd be amazing, because obviously he played for the Cardinals last year. It's a 1-year deal. Let's see what you have. I thought they were just going to bring in Sherfield just to be, on special teams. Yeah. And if he can do both, I mean, that's huge. That's a great.
I believe they surprised the Niners. I think the Niners brought him specifically for special teams.
Yeah.
And he's shown off that he can be a receiver, man. So I'm excited. I like this kid.
Yeah.
Especially I love how he's working really good with Trey.
No, exactly. And I would say a surprising player, another 5th round pick, Jalen Moore. I think he's held his own at the left tackle position when Trent Williams
is out. I keep forgetting him. Yes.
And I think we drafted him as a guard, I believe. So, he's shown versatility that he can play, a tackle as well. And we know, Mike McGlinchey, he's in the last year of his deal with his 5th-year option. And I would be surprised if McGlinchey comes back.
Very good point.
Yeah, so Jalen Moore, maybe he could transition to the right side. I know we have, Alejandro, I don't want to mess with that. I think it's Alfredo Gutierrez. We have him as well, who's in the, the International Player Pathway Program. So we have options at that tackle position, and I think, I'm excited to see the future of those 2 players. Defense for me, I would say Hufanga and probably Lenore. They stand out the most at camp for me, and hopefully they can contribute on the defensive side of the ball this year. I gotta say, what's good to Young Hitter? Thanks for tuning in to
What's up, Josh?
He also says, hope you guys have a wonderful night. Let's go Niners. Also, what's good to Monica? She says, what's good, Jay, and Niner Sickness, and all you in the chat. J.A., what's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream. He says, hey, Jay in the Bay, nice to see you have Niner Sickness on to discuss the Niner Empire. Absolutely. It's an honor. It's an honor to have Niner Sickness on. And we're just talking about the wide receivers. Who do you think will start at wide receiver 3 this season?
Receiver number 3, it's oh man, I'm telling you, Trent is really, really I had Mohamed Sanud in the beginning, winning that spot, but unfortunately for him, he has been going down the ranks a little bit for me. Juwan Jennings and Trent Sherfield, for me personally, are the two that are really tied for that spot. You can't rule out Jalen Hurd, unfortunately, until we see what he does on Sunday. But if I have to pick just one player out of the receivers for number 3, I would go with Trent Sherfield as a number 3 myself.
Yeah, and obviously Kendrick Bourne held down that position for a few years. I'm glad Kendrick Bourne signed his contract. He got a multi-year contract extension.
Well deserved.
With the Patriots. Well deserved. He's a good receiver, and I think we could use a few different receivers to fill that role. I believe he had last year at least 40 to 50 catches. So we need someone to replace that production. So that could be Sanu, it could be Jennings or Sherfield. So it could be a combination of 3. And also at that third wide receiver position, you're going to need someone who can block.
Yes.
And Sanu and Jennings are big body receivers, but Trent Sherfield has definitely showed out in the preseason.
Yes, bro.
And hopefully that continues in the regular season.
Yes.
And Niner Faithful gives his take on Jimmy. He says, I'll say Jimmy starts the season, but so won't confidently say he finishes the season, depending on how good Trey plays in his packages or if Jimmy gets traded at the deadline. I got a question for you. If Jimmy, let's say through the bye week, I think it's week 7, or week 6, 1 and 2. If Jimmy takes us in the bye week and we've won 5 games and lost 2 games, Jimmy's playing well. He's not turning over the ball much. Do you see Shanahan taking Jimmy out to put Trey in?
Oh, okay. Taking him out. I thought you were going to ask me if we were going to trade him. We're not trading Jimmy.
No.
But I see this being an Alex Smith and Kaepernick situation where if Alex Smith was playing good ball, he got hurt, and because of his injury, they brought in Kaepernick and never looked back. I see the same thing with Garoppolo. Listen, if Garoppolo's playing good ball and we're winning games with him, there's no need to rush the rookie. I can't express that enough. There's no need other than us just wanting to see him play. And the thing about it is they're gonna bring him in sub packages. So for those that really love Trey, you're gonna see him play. But if Jimmy is playing good football and he's winning games, I will continue riding the hot hand. And one thing about Kyle Shanahan, bro, we know this. He loves to ride the hot hand. He's proven it to him while being here. He done it in Atlanta and Cleveland. So if Jimmy's winning games, I do not see Trey coming in as a starter. I just see him continue to be brought in sub packages and continue to ride with Jimmy and win games.
I agree, because that's at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's about winning games. And I know people I love how you put it. It's not even about who's better for some fans. It's about I'm sick of Jimmy and I just want to see Trey. Well, you're going to see Trey in spurts. Yep. But I think as long as the team wins, I think, we are in good hands no matter who's at quarterback. Shout out to 49er Tone. What's good?
What's up, 49er Tone?
He says, what's up, everyone? Can't stay too long, but sliding through for the support. Hope everyone having a great Thursday. You do the same, man. Hopefully your Thursday night is going well. And he says, go Niners.
I like those rings, baby. I love those rings.
Those are nice. Now, obviously, the Niners, we are in the NFC West, one of the toughest divisions in football. Now, out of all 3 teams, who is the toughest division opponent for the Niner Empire?
If you ask me who's a better team, I would have to say the Rams. But if you ask me who's the harder opponent for our 49ers, I got to say it's the Seahawks. Seahawks with Russell Wilson has had our number, and until that changes, I have to continue to say the Seahawks. I don't like saying it, but it's the facts are facts that Seahawks had our number. And although I think the Rams are a better squad than the Seahawks, but the Seahawks have beat us more than we beaten them. So I would say the Seahawks until something changes, brother.
I would definitely agree with that. Russell Wilson, since he was drafted, he's just been a pain in the 49ers. There's no doubt.
You know what? Yep.
Yeah, and even if the Seahawks are down, they're losing, it doesn't matter. They got Russell Wilson, and he can bring his team back. I admire his play. I love watching him, just not when he plays the Niners. Of course.
Yeah,
he's like a magician when he's in that pocket. He's got a few excellent receivers. DK. Tyler. I think it's Tyler
Lockett.
He's got a running game with Chris Carson, and they're definitely going to be dangerous. The Seahawks,
they got a better offensive line. This is the best
do.
offensive line that Russell Wilson has had in a long time.
Yeah, and they traded for Gabe Jackson, a guard from the Raiders, so they definitely improved in that area. I would agree with you. Definitely the Seahawks, and it's no doubt they have the best quarterback in the division. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Do you have the schedule in front of you?
No, I do not.
Okay.
But I can definitely bring it up if you want.
Yeah. Let me know. Let me know when you pull that up. I have a question for you specifically about the schedule. Let's see. Looks like Jay says Grant is so mad over Jimmy's camp numbers, Niner sickness, and Jay at the Bay. Yeah, I mean, Grant, I respect his grind, but he's definitely pulling for Trey Lance, that's for sure. Young Hitter says, hope you guys are having a wonderful night. Let's go Niners. Jerome, 43100. What's good? Appreciate you joining the stream. He says, if you think Trey should start week 1, type Trey. All right. Well, we see.
I got the schedule. Whenever you're ready, bro. I got the schedule up.
Cool. And so going to the schedule, who do you think is the toughest non-division game for the 49ers this season?
Non-division game. Let's see here. Me personally, this year, I think it's going to be the Tennessee Titans. It's going to be, now that they have Julio Jones, they got Derrick Henry, the big bruiser. Tannehill I think he's an underrated quarterback. That's a very good team. So a non-division team, I think the Colts can give them also. The Colts could be as well, but I think the Tennessee is going to be a tough opponent to beat, especially in Tennessee this year.
Yeah, you mentioned that Tennessee game. It's 2 days before Christmas. It's a Thursday night game, a short week for the 49ers. We got to fly down to Tennessee. That has L written all over it. That's definitely going to be a tough game. And the Colts game is definitely intriguing. Unfortunately, Wentz and Nelson, they got hurt, but it looks like they're back at camp. But before that game, the Niners have a bye week. The players will be well rested. The coaching staff will be able to game plan for the Colts, for 2 weeks. So I think that should be a great game, and it's going to be on a Sunday night football.
Baby.
Time. Exactly. So I definitely can't wait for
Forrest
that.
Buckner is back.
I know, right? And the return of DeForest Buckner. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Ryan Robinson, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream. That's a nice avatar picture you got right there, man. That looks wonderful. He says, are you guys really playing your first string this weekend? Absolutely. I would say, I think George Kittle's going to play. I don't think Bosa or Ford will play. I'll be surprised by that. But yeah, I think we're definitely playing our starters a few series.
I think Bosa might play a series.
He might play a series. Okay. Yeah. And I'll be okay with that.
Just to kind of get the, it's a mental thing for Bosa. He just needs to get hit and kind of like, all right, I'm back. And I don't want him to play personally, but if it's for him just to get his mindset together, why not? What's one play?
Yeah, and also, he's got to knock the rust off. And, if he plays one series, I think that should be.
That's what I meant, series. Yeah, one series.
Let's see. Don, I appreciate you coming into the stream. And thanks for tuning in to Jay in the Bay. She says, got to head out Niner Empire. Mom duty calls. Can't wait to catch your next YouTube show, Jay in the Bay. I appreciate that, Don. And thank you for supporting Jay in the Bay. Now, what do you think Niners sickness will be the 49ers regular season record when it's all said and done?
Ooh, well, let's see here. I'm gonna. I'll go real quickly. Um, we're definitely going to beat the Lions. I mean, anything can happen on any given Sunday. I think the only thing the Niners have to watch out for is their kneecaps. Make sure their kneecaps don't get injured because Campbell will be going after their kneecaps based on his press conference. But I see us beating the Lions, the Eagles. I'm not too key on their quarterback, so that's 2 wins there. Green Bay, until Green Bay does otherwise, with a fully roster, 49ers healthy roster, the defense that we're playing with, I just can't see Green Bay beating us. So we're going to be 3-0 right there. And then we play the Seahawks. Seahawks always gives us a hard time, but we play them close in Santa Clara. And I think having a couple, that's when I'm really going to see. I think that's where we're going to see a lot of Trey and sub packages against the Seahawks. So I expect to win that. So what's that, 4-0? And then we go to Arizona. We play Arizona. Now, Arizona, it's an upcoming team. They got on a little bit better, but I'm not a big fan of their coach. And listen, they had to win last year to make the playoffs. We were in their house for a whole month, and we beat them with C.J. Mullins. Okay, so if we beat them with no offense, no defense, with C.J. Beathard, not Mullins, excuse me, C.J. Beathard, we beat him with C.J. Beathard. What makes you believe we can't beat him this year? J.J. Watt, I respect him, but he's up there in age, and he's not the foremost shell of himself. So we'll beat the Arizona. So that's what, 5-0, and then we have the Colts coming in, as you said. We have DeForest Buckner. I don't know if Carson's going to be playing. That's going to be a tough game because their defense is really scary. But I think having 2 weeks to prepare with a bye, we should win that game. So we'll win that game. So we're now, 6-0? And then we go to the Bears. The Bears, are we facing Dalton or are we facing Justin Fields? If we're facing Justin Fields, is he pissed that we passed over him? Is he going to try to revenge us by, as people like to say in the media? But I don't see the Bears being that good still. It's hard to win in Soldier Field, but we've done it before many times. So I see us winning that game as well. And then we have the Arizona coming to our house. Now, if we beat them in their house, we're not going to have a problem beating them in our house. So we're going to sweep them. So now we have the Rams. The Rams are coming in, not Goofy, but Matthews. And people are underrating the Rams a lot, saying that they're the same old Rams, but they're not. They're not the same old Rams with Matthew Stafford. The playbook's going to be opened up. That just means more trouble for those receivers coming at us, and hopefully Jason Verrett and Emmanuel Mosley are top of their game, man, because we're going to need them for that game. But I still see us beating them at home. And then we go to the Jaguars, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm not going to spend too much time with the Jaguars. Anything can happen on any given Sunday, but come on, bro. Yeah, we win that game. So we haven't lost a game yet. Now, this is what the interesting part is. Minnesota Vikings come into town. Jefferson this kid was a steal at wide receiver from LSU for the Vikings. I mean, they lost Stephon Diggs, and they didn't even miss him, bro, with Jefferson coming in and playing as good as he did. So they lucked out. This is where I see our first loss, believe it or not, is against the Vikings. I think the Vikings will come in, and it's going to be a close game, but I see us losing to the Vikings. And then I hate to do this because I hate the back-to-back losses, but then we go to Seattle, and the 12 man is back. And they weren't there last year. So all those crazy fanatics of the Seahawks are going to be back. there. So I expect us to lose that game. I would love to win it, and if we win it, great. But I expect to split um, with the Seahawks, so we lose. So we lost two back to back, and then we play the Bengals. The Bengals are right up, even though they're a little bit better than the Jaguars. I don't see us going to the jungle and getting lost. So we'll find ourselves through the jungle. So we beat the Bengals, and then the Atlanta game. Now, this is not the 2019 trap game with Atlanta when Atlanta came and beat us. Okay, yes, they have a wonderful tight end in Kyle, but it's his first year. We're going to beat Atlanta. Now we're going on a short week. We're heading over to the Tennessee Titans. We talked about this earlier. I expect us to lose that game. It's going to be a very close game. I expect us to lose it. So now we have 3 losses on the record. And then we go to the Texans and we just take out all that frustration from the Tennessee Titans on the Texans, especially for not giving us Deshaun Watson in the beginning. So we beat them, slap them like a stepchild. And then we finish the season in our second stadium. Our second brand new SoFi Stadium belongs to the Niners, not the Rams. Sorry, fail time. But until you beat us, I mean, that's our stadium. You know, we haven't lost in SoFi yet. We beat the Rams there last year. We beat the Chargers there this year, and even though it's preseason. But unfortunately, we are going to lose to the Rams in this game. Now, depending on what's riding, I mean, that can be I really think the Niners and Rams are going to be really fighting for that playoff spot, fighting for the division. So that's what, 4 losses total. So 4. So that makes us what, 15? No.
13-4.
13-4. So that's what I go with, 13-4 record for this year. So I want to get your thoughts on that, bro.
That is a very optimistic take, and I definitely respect that. Because I had the Niners. I think we'll go 12-5, and I think the losses probably be Tennessee. I wouldn't be surprised. Our division is so tough. It's so close in talent. I wouldn't be surprised if we went like 3-3 in our division. I wouldn't be surprised by that.
Arizona, really? Okay.
I think Arizona could. Arizona, they give us trouble.
They do.
I know we beat them last year, like when Arizona needed to win.
Yeah, they give us trouble in the first half.
Yeah,
they somehow they forget to do that in the second half. But yeah, I hear you.
And Kyler, I think he gives us problem just because he's very dynamic in the pocket. It's
you don't know where he's at.
Yeah, you can't see him, right? Yeah. It's frustrating to watch him play from a defensive perspective because even if the pass rush gets there, he steps up in the pocket, he moves to the left, he moves to the right. They got DeAndre Hopkins.
Yes, they
he's
do.
A beast.
And now they added what's his name from the Cincinnati,
AJ Green. So I could see the Cardinals winning a game against them. It could be like 28-27. The Cardinals have the last possession. They go down, kick a field goal. Like I could see something like that. And then so that would be 4 losses, and then one more. I think there's always going to be a game on the schedule where the Niners should beat just by showing up on the field, and then that doesn't always
that trap game.
Exactly. So that I don't think it'll be Houston. But there's Houston, there's Jacksonville, and I think maybe
Bengals?
Minnesota. Or the big, I think you said the Bengals?
Yeah.
No, we should beat the Bengals. But okay. I think it could be, like you said, Minnesota. They got Dalvin Cook, a good running game. They got Kirk Cousins. So that could be a loss.
They got a good defense. And they got a lot of their players back. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, I would say 12-5.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be my prediction.
So let me ask you, I know this is your show. I'm sorry. What is your on the record? What is your floor and what is your ceiling for the Niners?
I would say floor is probably 10-7, and that's if we went 10-7, we would lose like one of those trap games.
Okay.
And then I think we would probably lose maybe to Minnesota or maybe even Green Bay.
It's possible.
That would be a home opener against the Packers, but the Packers are no slouch.
No,
I think it really depends what happens in that first quarter. Aaron Rodgers, he doesn't really like to play from behind, especially if the Niners can control the time of possession, run the ball, beat them up physically. I think we can definitely handle them. But if it's a close game and we can't really run the ball, Aaron Rodgers, he's one of the best I've ever seen, throw a ball easily in the last 2 decades. So that Packers game will be tough.
So 10-7 would be your floor. And so your ceiling, what would that be?
12-5. I think 12-5 is the absolute best I could see. I mean, 13-4 or 15-3, that's an incredible year. A lot of things would have to go right, kind of like how in 2019, where pretty much everything went right. Okay. We got off to that great start. But I think our division is really tough.
It is.
There won't be any easy games, and they know us so well. We know them well. And as you mentioned, Jared Goff's no longer on the Rams. They upgraded with Matt Stafford. Now, some people in the comments, they don't respect Matt Stafford, but he's on.
He never had a defense, and he never had a running game.
And now he has that. Now, running game, we'll see, because I know their best running back, Cam Akers, is out for the year with the Achilles. But I think they just, made a trade.
Sony
exactly. Sony Michel, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know how good he is. I think he kind of fell out of favor in New England. Yeah. So, the New England was like, oh, yeah, we'll trade him and, get some picks in return. And the Rams kind of said, hey, we'll take this guy and maybe, a fresh start, another offensive coordinator maybe will do well for Sony Michel.
You never know.
We'll see. Yeah, you never know. And then also they have Darrell Henderson as well. So,
yeah,
but I would imagine the Rams would probably throw the ball a lot anyway. They're going to throw the ball with Matt Stafford. They have a lot of weapons outside the numbers. And then
Robert Woods is a good receiver.
Yeah, man. Cooper Kupp. They got a good tight end. They brought in Deshaun Jackson. We'll see how healthy he'll be, but he still can stretch the defense. We'll see if he stays healthy. That's the big thing with him. So,
but if he's going to be a third or fourth receiver, that's still not bad to have.
Right, exactly. I gotta say, what's good to Sean T. Thanks for tuning in to the stream. Shout out to Malo213. What's good? He is the first Raider fan in the chat. So shout out to you, man, and thanks for tuning in to the stream. Let's see. J.A. says, I really like Jordan Matthews. I like the fact that he gained weight so he could compete as a tight end. The little that I saw of him was impressive. That's an interesting point because we've got like maybe 4 or 5 tight ends. That's going to be interesting to see who ends up being on the active 53-man roster. What are your thoughts on Jordan Matthews?
Well, that's a good point there. I can't pronounce your name, so I'm going to call you J.A. as well. That's a very good point. Matthews is, he's always been a great catcher, pass catcher. I don't know about his blocking, though. I know he'll be competing for a spot with Charlie Warner. But I think Charlie Warner is definitely a good blocker. Charlie Warner is a great blocker. He's if you watch that game against the Charger, man, some of those blocks he did, he's a great blocker. So it's going to be really competition between those two. If I had to say, I think they're going to go with the blocker over Matthews. But I like what Matthew has done, but I just don't see Matthew making the team over Charlie Warner because especially since we're going to be run heavy, we're going to need that blocking ability with Charlie Warner. And then the other guy, Pruitt, we just guaranteed him money. So I don't see us cutting him because of the money we guaranteed him in. So those are the two, one of those man outs, and I think it's going to be Matthews, unfortunately, for me.
Yeah, Matthews might be the odd man out. Maybe we could keep him on the practice squad. I'm not sure, but I would have liked to have seen Jordan Matthews, more in the preseason as a receiving threat because I think he was a pretty good receiver with Philly. I know that was years ago, but maybe at tight end he could present some matchup problems for a defense. But yeah, that'll be intriguing to see how that tight end depth chart pans out.
Unless he calls his uncle.
49ers first takes. What's good?
What's up?
Thanks for tuning in to the stream. Another excellent 49er YouTube content creator. Let's see. Rams House. What's good? He says, what's up, Jay? And Niner sickness. So let's see. what are your thoughts? Well, I already know who you want to start week one. I think that's pretty clear as Jimmy. But what are your thoughts on the 49ers and Raiders final preseason game? And I guess I would say, do you want starters to play in this final game prior to week one of Detroit, or do you think we should all sit them out and we stress health over everything, over anything?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of preseason game. I love watching it I like watching it, but I like watching it more to see the rookies and to see those that are trying to make the roster fight for a roster spot. I understand the whole idea, the mindset of Bosa getting that hit out of the way, but after he gets a hit out of the way, he's still going to have to wait 2 weeks before he plays against Detroit. So I just don't see no advantage in starting your starters because all it takes is one bad move, one back tackle, and God forbid the worst happens. And I've seen it before at times. So I want to beat the Raiders just because they're the Raiders and they're bragging about beating them. But let's be honest, not on the expense of losing someone, potential starter for us. So I wouldn't be mad if they start these starters, but I would think it would be best to not start them and let them rest and let them not rest, but let them be safe and then play them in the regular season. So I'm not for starting starters in the preseason game, especially the Raiders, man. Playing against them, they're going to want to hit and do their, how they are, those dirty players. So I'm not opposed to starting our starters, but if they do, Kyle knows what he's doing. Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, other than me being a fan, and I want to watch the top 1% players, at their position, the top of the top at their craft. I want to see them play, obviously from a fan enjoyment perspective, but it really doesn't make sense as far as if the players get hurt. Obviously, that would be devastating, especially if they're a starter or if they're projected to contribute greatly to the team. Obviously, we don't want to see that. But Shanahan said, "Hey, we're going to start a majority of the starters." And you said that Nick Bosa might play. Do you know about D4? Do you think he'll play?
Sorry, mute myself. I hope not. I really, I mean, he's another one that needs to but man, dealing with his back, bro, I'll be very shocked. I'm going to just straight up a record. I'll be shocked if he plays. Maybe Bosa, a series, possibly, but I'm very shocked if they play D4. There's no upside on playing him in a preseason game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And Celts Chronicles,
what's up?
Thanks for tuning in to the stream, Celts. He says Sunday sermon. Exactly. We also have 2 trays in the bay. Young Hitter says Raiders going to get stomped. Monica says, I like this comment. Battle of the Bay. LOL. Vegas Raiders are Mandalay Bay now.
Mandalay Bay.
That's pretty good. Well, it's been a pleasure to have you on my show, Niner Sickness. And as I said in the beginning, I watched you when I was just beginning my YouTube journey, and it was cool to see how you interact with your community. And I'm glad that some of the Niner Sickness fans have ventured over to intheBay, and you guys can love us both. That's all good, because we all bring something different to the table. We all have different personalities. So it's great to build this YouTube community, and the floor is now yours. You can plug your social media. What do you have to say to the faithful, the Niner Empire? The floor is yours, brother.
I appreciate that. Well, I just want to start off with being said that I am honored to be on your show, bro. You're a great content creator, man. I love your passion. I love your love for the Niners, bro, and I love the way you interact with your viewers as well. And for all the viewers, man, I just want to say, at the end of the day, without you, myself, intheBay, we're just talking to each other. You're the one that makes the show for us. So I just want to say thank you to all of you that watched us today. And for those that came over and supported me to Jay and subscribe to his channel, thank you for your support. You can follow me on YouTube I have my channel. It's called, just type in Niner Sickness. I pop up. You can follow me on Twitter at Niner Sickness 49, Instagram at Niner Sickness. And those are pretty much it. And if you want to send me an email and talk to me, ninersickness@yahoo.com is where you can reach me. I love having fun. I love interacting. Do I know everything about football? No, but I love to have fun. I love to. My wife says I have the gift of gab. I can gab. So if you ever want to hear me talk, come and check me out on my channel. I appreciate you, and love what Jay's doing. Continue to support your boy Jay in the Bay. Great host. You're amazing, brother. I can't say enough about you, bro. Continue to rep this red and gold, baby. And like you said, there's nothing wrong with supporting both of us, man. We're all supporting one thing in common, the red and gold, baby.
Absolutely. And one more question for you from Niner Faithful, and I appreciate the kind words, man. You're too kind. I can't wait to do another collab with you in the future. Niner Faithful says, Niner Sickness, what's your opinion on Richie James? Also, just subscribe to your channel. So shout out to you, Niner Faithful.
Wow, thank you, Niner Faithful, for subscribing to my channel. I appreciate that, brother. Richie James, is he still on the roster?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I say that sarcastically, but I'm ready to move on from him. Yeah, listen, yes, he can catch. I know a lot of people want Obispa Wesper. I don't know if I pronounced his first name properly, but over Richie James. Now, he hasn't shown that he can be a receiver as Richie James has, but I don't know about you, Jay, and Niner Faithful. Him returning punts on special teams does not excite me. I know he doesn't turn the ball over, which is good, but man, he doesn't do. I mean, he doesn't. I want to start at the 35, 40-yard line, if not on, and he doesn't do it for me. So I'm ready to move on. So if you're asking me my personal opinion, Niner Sickness, I hope he doesn't make the roster. I hope he's gone. I wish him the best somewhere else, but I'm done. I'm done seeing him do special teams, and for what he does on as a receiver is not really that much. So, bye, in my opinion.
I would agree. Richie has had opportunities, but I think he's just another guy, at least in this system. And we have other wide receivers who I think can contribute, and I just want to see over Richie James. So yeah, I would be surprised if Richie made the 53-man active roster. But once again, Niner Sickness, I appreciate you for coming on to Jay and the Bay YouTube channel. Hopefully you have an excellent Thursday night and enjoy the game on Sunday. Absolutely. Go Niners, man.
Right there, baby.
Absolutely,
ready
man.
To go. In case you missed that one, baby. Right here.
And make sure you guys check out Niner Sickness. His social media links are all in the description. I'll see you later, Niner Sickness, man. I appreciate you for coming on.
Hey, man, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me on and putting up with me, brother. Much love and respect.
All right. Much love, man. Respect. All right. All righty. So that was Niner Sickness. It was definitely a pleasure to have him on my channel. Very knowledgeable, cool guy. Make sure you guys check out his social media. It's in the description of my video. And I can't wait till me and Niner Sickness have another collab during the regular season. Monica says, go DJ. That's my DJ. I love saying that when DJ Jones makes a play. DJ Jones, it reminds me of course, that Lil Wayne song, Go DJ. So, and Monica says 4 protected players allowed in principle. Practice squad players can be signed to another team's 53-man roster anytime, but each team can protect up to 4 players per week. That's a great observation and great point as well. So it'll be interesting to see who those 4 protected players are out of the practice squad. Monty Williams, he says this year our D line. I think our D line will be we'll have a lot of depth on our D line, and it'll be interesting to see how many defensive linemen we keep on the active roster. Monica says Sherfield came out of left field. He sure did. I'm as surprised as anyone on Trent Sherfield and his contributions to the offense in the preseason. Hopefully he can keep that up in the regular season. Corey Davis says, did you see the press conference where Joe Staley interviewed George Kittle? I did see that. That was pretty funny. Joe Staley asked George Kittle a question, and I think he was saying it in a Canadian accent. So that was pretty funny by Joe Staley. And shout out to Joe Staley. He's now a member of the media. So congrats to Joe Staley and the Staley family. Jay says Sherfield is down to the 20, the 10, the 5 touchdown 49ers. I absolutely want to hear that more and more often from Greg Papa, and I can't wait for the season. J.A. Aguayo gives his list of defensive linemen who will be on the active roster. He says the 49ers will keep Ford, Kinlaw, Armstead, DJ Jones, Street, Bosa, Samson, Buku, Zach Kerr, Maurice Hurst, Arden Key, and Givens, 11, and only 2 quarterbacks. That's interesting because Shanahan has, historically kept 3 quarterbacks on the active roster. So it'll be interesting to see which positions have more. I think the defensive lineman could have, up to 10 defensive linemen. Also, the secondary could have you figure at least 8 players in the secondary, including the safeties. And then, of course, wide receiver. I think there could be up to 6 or 7 wide receivers. Caden says, when was your first video? So my first video was, August 7th, 2020. That's when intheBay's YouTube journey started. Monty Williams, this year our D-line rotation is going to be excellent, rested, and fresh legs. Absolutely, and especially with Jordan Willis coming back after week 6. He'll be ready to go against Indianapolis. And, yeah, hopefully we can get some production from Jordan Willis. J.A. says, could Jalen Moore play right guard? That's a great question. I'm not sure why Jalen Moore hasn't played right guard. I guess they feel that he's a better fit at left tackle. But I think in college, Jalen Moore played guard, I believe. But obviously the 49ers felt that was a bigger need, the left tackle position behind Trent Williams. And shout out to Jalen Moore. He's been playing really well at that left tackle position. We are now in the presence of greatness. What's good? Shout out to Joe Montana, blessing us with his presence on the intheBay YouTube channel. He says Sanu or Sherfield. I think they both make the roster. I think both of those receivers make the 53-man active roster. Jay says Joe Staley is going to be working at NBC Sports Bay Area as a 49ers analyst, and he will be on the 49ers pregame and postgame. That's very exciting, and I'm glad to see him on there, and I'm interested to see what he has to say about the Niner Empire. J.A. Guile says, any news on Jennings' injury? I did not know he was injured, but someone can fill us in the chat. That'd be greatly appreciated. Hopefully it's not too serious. Joe Montana, rotate Jennings and Sanu. I agree. I think it'll be Jennings, Sanu, and Sherfield, most likely. Fern, 559 LST. What's good? Appreciate you joining the stream. He says, I really like Sherfield. He's been burning people at camp and love how he talks back to corners. Looks really aggressive. Yeah, I enjoy his attitude and I enjoy his production on the field. And hopefully he can grow a rapport with Jimmy because he seems like he definitely has one with Trey. Monica, absolutely agree with this statement. It's a 2-quarterback system now for a little while. Embrace it. Absolutely. Let's see. Fern says, I like Trey, but looks like he's still nervous on running. You talking about Trey Sermon or Trey Lance? Let me know in them comments. Jay says, wide receiver 3 will be Trent Sherfield. I would agree. Let's see. Derpy Boy. He says, do you think the Niners will use Jalen Hurd this year or no? He's been injured both seasons post being drafted. Yeah, definitely not how any athlete wants their career to start. I would be surprised if Jalen Hurd makes the 53-man active roster. Maybe the 49ers put him on the PUP list. That means he'll be out for the first 6 weeks of the regular season. That's the physically unable to perform list. If they do that with Jalen Hurd, they can reassess how he's doing after the first 6 weeks, and they could either, cut him, put him on the 53-man active roster. But I don't think they put him on the 53-man active roster, come next Tuesday. I just would be surprised. I don't think he's done enough to warrant that. And, we already have Sherfield playing well, Sanu, Jennings, even Simba Webster. He's there. I think he could produce on special teams. I would be surprised. Let's see. Monica says Niners favorite to win the division and fourth best odds to win the Super Bowl. Go Niners. I'm out, guys. I appreciate you coming through to the stream. Hopefully, you have a good rest of your Saturday night. Or, excuse me, it's not Saturday. I'm tripping. It's Thursday night. Hopefully, you have a good rest of your Thursday night. Jay says Tart left the field today with an injury. That's disappointing. Hopefully, it's not serious, and we'll get an update on that sooner than later. KD, what do you think about Green Bay? I think Green Bay's good. I think the Packers are a good team. Obviously led, by Aaron Rodgers. They got a good running game. They got Devontae Adams at receiver. I think their defense is solid with the two Smith brothers on the edge. They also have a pretty good secondary, but I think they're kind of susceptible to being run on, and that's what the 49ers do best is run the ball. And I think we can beat the Packers. I think so. 49ers Ultimate Report giving us his losses for the 49ers on the season. This is his prediction. So 49ers Ultimate Report says let's see, 4 lost games will be, the first one will be on the road versus the Seahawks, Titans on the road, trap game versus the Vikings, and Rams on the road, also 50-50 Colts. Yeah, so it looks like you're predicting the Niners to either be 12-5 or 13-4. I could definitely see that. Gotta say, what's good to Minister Brandon. Thanks for tuning in to the stream. Hopefully your Thursday night is going well. And Minister Brandon is a Detroit Lions fan. All right. Well, good luck to your team week 1 against the faithful, the Niner Empire. Good luck, man. Good luck, man. And Corey said that Stafford sucks. I had to read that again because I've known this about KD for a while, so we'll see, man. So if Matt Stafford takes the Rams to the playoffs, does he still suck? Let me know. Y'all know it in them comments. 49ers Ultimate Report says worst case scenario for the 49ers, 8 or 9 wins this year. Best case, 13 wins. Okay. 912 Niner. What's good? Appreciate you joining the stream. He says, what are we doing at right tackle and cornerback? In my opinion, that's our weakest position. Hey, that's an astute observation there. I think Mike McGlinchey, he's going to have a bounce back year. I think that he's in the last year of his contract. Usually a lot of players, sometimes players play their best in the final year of their contract. They're trying to get that next lucrative contract extension. They're trying to get that generational wealth. And there's no way Mike McGlinchey is going to take a hometown discount to stay with the 49ers. I think he's going to be an anchor on the right side of that offensive line. He came into camp. He put on weight, which is always a good sign. And he's practicing against some of the better defensive linemen in the NFL, Bosa, D Ford. So I think he will get better. And I think he's looked solid so far in preseason. So hopefully that will continue in the regular season. Now, cornerback, as far as depth, I think after Emmanuel Mosley, Verrett, and K'Wan Williams, there's not really proven depth, but we got the 2 rookie corners, and then we have like some veteran depth behind them. So I agree with you that depth could be an issue. But, if they stay healthy, I think we're pretty good at the cornerback spot. And a secondary's best friend is the defensive line. As long as we get pressure on the quarterback, that'll greatly help our secondary. And I think we definitely upgraded the safeties as well. Oh, okay. 912 Niner says I meant right guard. Yeah, right guard. Yeah, Brunskill. It's funny. I always say this about offensive line play. They could have 50 snaps in the game, and if they do their job on 45 of those snaps, and then there's 5 snaps where it could be, a false start. It could be a holding, or they could allow a sack. That gets highlighted over the other plays that they did well. So Brunskill, he's a veteran, and he's played along multiple positions along the offensive line. I think he should do well. If not, obviously when he goes up against Aaron Donald, that's going to be one of his most toughest matchups. But I think Shanahan will do a good job in making life easier for Brunskill. Maybe putting a running back behind him to help block. Maybe having plays run opposite of run skill. I think he definitely did that against Aaron Donald. He schemed against that. So I think we'll be okay with Brunskill at right guard. If not, Aaron Banks will be behind him, and hopefully Aaron Banks continues to get better, and hopefully he gets healthy. That's the thing with Aaron Banks. Hopefully he gets healthy because he was drafted second round to possibly start this year and also to be the future right guard. So I think we'll be okay at right guard. Travis Berg Jr., what's good? Appreciate you joining the stream. For those that don't know, Travis Berg Jr. is a Raiders fan. So this Sunday will be very exciting. I'm very excited for the game, Niners versus Raiders. And I'm looking forward to the game. Let's see. Thanks for coming through, Caden. And let's see. Monty says, what's the final score of the Raiders game? Now, obviously, the score doesn't really matter. It's preseason, but I'll say 27-21 49ers. Thanks for coming through. Renee. I appreciate your support of the Jay in the Bay YouTube channel. And Travis Berg Jr. says Niner Sickness is the man. Absolutely. J.A. Aguayo says, we'll catch your show, Niner Sickness. You have a blessed night. Great discussion. I appreciate the kind words. I appreciate that. Let's see. Travis Berg says, even though I'm a diehard Raiders fan, I love all you guys and your platforms. Great stream. I appreciate that, man. You're very kind. I appreciate that. And I enjoy watching your YouTube channel as well. Corey Davis says, you guys have a good night. I appreciate your support, KD. Jay says, great stream. Sean says, great job. I appreciate that. Same with Young Hitter. Great stream. Have a wonderful rest of your night. If I could get that out. Let's see. The Cardinal Rule. What's good? Appreciate you joining the stream, Cardinal Rule. He is, for those that don't know, he's an up-and-coming Arizona Cardinals fan. His channel has grown exponentially. I think he started his channel this year. I wish I would have found out his channel prior than less than a month ago, but he produces excellent content talking about the Arizona Cardinals. He will definitely be on my show in the future. The Cardinal Rule says one important note about those 4 protected players, and we're talking about the practice squad players, they have to initially get through waivers to make it to the practice squad. Once they get through that process, you can protect them. Yep, absolutely right. Let's see. Yeah, I would agree with that, Jay. Joe Starkey. Yeah, he definitely stands out in my mind as one of the best 49 announcers in 49er history. He was the first person I heard, announce a 49ers game. J.A. says, heard that Jennings hurt his heel. Wow, that's disappointing. I think Jennings had an issue with his heel, and that's why he didn't play in the second preseason game. So hopefully, it's not too serious. KD says, if I'm right about Stafford, I'm going to do a dance video and tag you in it. That's pretty good. So you think Stafford won't get the Rams to the playoffs? That's interesting. I think he will, but we'll see. Oh, man. Livy's World, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, Livy's World. Thank you for continuing to support Jay in the Bay. Let's see. Just like the Cardinal Rule says, started in April and currently approaching 1,200 subs. That's crazy. That's excellent. It took me a year to get 1,000 subs, and a lot of people, YouTube is hard. YouTube is hard. It's definitely a grind. And shout out to the Cardinal Rule. That's excellent. Most YouTubers are not able to reach that amount of subs in less than 6 months. So that's incredible. And shout out to you and your success. And your videos are definitely different. They're definitely unique. And I think that adds to the value of your channel. And I'm definitely looking forward to collaborating. And the Cardinal Rule says the same. J.A. Aguayo says, you be blessed. Same to you. Go Niners. Travis Berg, Jimmy G, that's my quarterback. Absolutely. There we go. Jimmy G, that's my quarterback. Tommy, what's good? He says that's one collab I can skip. That's funny. Eric, what's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream, Eric. That's pretty funny. Shout out to everyone who was conversing in the chat tonight. Shout out to everyone that left a super chat. Top of my head, KD, Blue True, 49ers Ultimate Report, Corey Davis, I mentioned him, Coach Dante, let's see, Payo Time, 49ers Ultimate Report, Luke Luna, and shout out to you guys for leaving super chats. I appreciate that. You guys are too kind. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the content. I definitely plan on continuing to make this content, of course. Let's see, the rest of the week, obviously we got the Raiders on Sunday. I might be doing a stream with the Spotlight Sports Network YouTube channel. It'll probably be on my channel as well. That's probably going to be Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Pacific time. So we will be talking about the Niners and Raiders. So you guys can definitely join me there. And then on Sunday for the game, I'll be doing like an hour and a half pregame show. Hopefully you guys can join me there. You can give me your thoughts on the game. And then, of course, I'll be doing a post-game show as well. So that's what you can look forward to, Jay, in the Bay for the rest of the week. And, of course, any other Niner news that comes out, you guys know I will be doing videos on that as well. But, yeah, shout out to everyone in the chat. Shout out to everyone watching Jay and the Bay Facebook, Spotlight Sports Network Facebook, and, of course, Spotlight Sports Network YouTube and Jay and the Bay YouTube. I appreciate everyone's support. Shout out again to Niner Sickness. Excellent guest. I can't wait till we collab again in the regular season. And if you haven't, make sure you check out Niner Sickness. His social media links are in the description of the video. And he's an excellent content creator. And, I appreciate everyone coming through. And hopefully you guys have a good rest of your Thursday night and have a good weekend. And tomorrow it's a payday Friday. Ain't nothing better than a payday Friday, faithful. And have a good weekend. I'll see you guys on Saturday morning if you can make it. And if not, I'll see you on Sunday for the Raiders and Niners game. The Raiders will be back in the Bay Area. Definitely looking forward to that game. Everyone have a good night. And thanks for watching your boy, Jay in the Bay. I'll see you guys in the next one real soon.